Hi, I'm Mark, founder of All Things AI Automation. And the reason that I hit the record button on this to record this video is because I wanted you to get to know me a little bit more. We're going to begin taking a journey together, one that I'm excited about, what the future holds for us as we move forward with this new technology called artificial intelligence or AI. And I know for some of us it's not all that new anymore, but for many of us it is. And so I wanted you just to get to know me a little bit. Who is this Mark guy? Why is he talking about AI? Why should I go with his company versus somebody else? Those are legitimate questions. And so hopefully over the next few minutes, you'll get to have a better sense of who I am, what motivates me, what I and all things AI automation can do for you and your business. And so I started this channel for a variety of reasons, and I started this business for a variety of reasons. But one of it is I began to see I guess, early 23, Chat GPT was released late 22. And I began to see in watching many YouTube videos that this technology was different. There was something vastly different about it and the impact it was going to have on us. And so I watched these YouTube videos of some very educated individual that I don't know how I came across them, how YouTube is. You start watching one and others are recommended to you, right? And they were talking about the revolutionary impact of artificial intelligence or AI in our world, and particularly in our business world and routines and workflows, and how it was going to impact all of those. And it was going to touch all of our lives. And then I began hearing statements like, artificial intelligence is the new electricity. And that statement stayed with me. And I thought to myself, man, if somebody is using that kind of verbiage to describe this technology, I need to start paying attention. And so over the last 2 years, I have been educating myself about artificial intelligence and automations and how those can make a difference in our world and in our businesses. And I'll be the first to say, I don't know it all. The thing about this industry and this technology is that it is changing so quickly. And I suspect that change is part of the reasons why so many of us feel such anxiety about it. One concern, somebody was asking me the other day, listen, if I adopt this technology today, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? How's it going to change? And man, I wished I knew the answer to that because I don't, but I do know that this whole artificial intelligence is changing the way we live and conduct businesses. And the reality is this: if you choose not to, because of whatever reason, your fears, your anxieties, somebody told you something about artificial intelligence and using it that you don't want to experience, you don't want to take that risk. I'm just here to tell you, though, if you don't become comfortable with this new technology, you will be left behind and your business will suffer. I'm not saying that it's going to kill your business if you don't do it, but I'm telling you, eventually those that are working for you and most everybody around you is going to be using it somehow, some way to benefit themselves and to give them a leg up over those of us who may not do that. And so I started this channel because I, at least for one reason, believe that this can be an incredible blessing, have a huge impact in not only our lives, but in our businesses. Saving time is one of the great things artificial intelligence is good for. Automating tasks that we don't like, but have to be done. Man, artificial intelligence and automations of our workflows, of inputting data, of responding to emails, of reaching out to potential leads can all be automated, can all be incorporated into either using AI or certainly automations. And it's incredible. And so I want to share that. And I really am an evangelist, if you will, of artificial intelligence and all the good things that it can bring into our lives. And one of the things that makes me different, I think, than a lot of guys and a lot of people that you'll see on YouTube and other places is number one, I'm not so much going to be spending time on the technical side. There'll be a little bit of it of how to build and incorporate a chatbot on your website or an AI voice agent. There's a lot of people out there that are doing that and probably can do a much better job at it than I can. But I'm going to be addressing some of the other kinds of issues when it comes to this technology and our businesses, because it can be concerning. It can be quite the anxiety producing event for us to begin to consider something we know little about. And we've heard the horror stories, and we just don't know what it's going to do, and what are my employees going to do or to think? Am I trying to eliminate them and their jobs? And so I hope to provide a sense of education. And it's part of my goal is to use these tools, use my skill sets to educate you and all of us about how AI works, what it can do for small to medium businesses, even large businesses, and then go from there. Because some will decide, many will decide, hey, I want to learn more about what this means for my business and how I can implement those. And we're going to be able to provide those. But I think for me to be able to provide that educational piece and perhaps provide the strategy piece will be a good start for us. And so that is at least part of the reason why I started this business and, of course, this channel as well. But the thing that I was going to say that I think I offer a little bit differently, let me just tell you a little bit about myself. About the sixth grade, I began to realize that what I really wanted to do in my life was fly airplanes. I would think that at the beginning it was just a boyhood fantasy to fly planes, much like we want to become firemen or policemen or whatever. But I wanted to fly planes, but it stuck with me. And so when I would go to the library in junior high, even early years in high school, most of what I was reading was about airplanes and about how to get my training and those kinds of things. And so I decided somewhere in high school that that's what I was going to do. And back then, this would have been in the late 70s, early 80s. The way most individuals got their wings was through the military. My goal, my dream, my vision was to fly for Pan Am. Kind of dating myself there, aren't I? Fly for Pan Am. They were some of the big boys still around during that time. And I was going to go in the military. So when the recruiters would come to my high school, when the college reps would come to my high school, I visited only with the recruiters from the Army and the Navy, and then also the Air Force. And that's what I was going to do. I hadn't quite made up my mind which branch of service. I think I was leaning towards the Air Force, but something happened my senior year of high school that turned my life in a different direction. And that thing that happened was my eyesight started to fail me. Back in those days, to be a pilot in the military, you had to have 20/20 uncorrected vision. And that wasn't true for me anymore. You don't see any glasses on me now because I was going to say I have contacts, but I actually just have one in. And so since my high school year, I've been wearing corrective lenses and could not go into the military. Never did get my wings, never learned how to fly. One time took an intro flight in a Cessna one time because I thought I'd get my pilot's license then, but I had family raising kids and didn't have the time nor the money to get my pilot's license. And that's okay because something was also happening within my own heart at the time. And I kept feeling this tug. And it turned out to be what I felt like was a calling that the Lord wanted me to go into ministry. And that's what I did. I quickly realized that the one ministry I did not want to go into was youth ministry. I was a youth myself, and I was intimidated by my peers. I had many opportunities to speak, whether at my church or at other events, and you talk about frightening. Today, I could speak in front of 1 million people, 10 people, it doesn't matter. But back then, to speak in front of my peers was frightening. It was just quite traumatic for me. But that turned me and steered me into teaching, preaching emphasis, and that's what I did. And so for about 20 years, I was in the ministry as a senior minister at a variety of churches in Kansas, Florida, and in Oklahoma as well. Now, I'm no longer in ministry. I've had other jobs, been in sales, been in middle management for Fortune 500 companies. I have been in the nonprofit world outside of a church setting and had a lot of experiences. But the one thing that drives me, the one thing that is consistent in it all is that I experience a lot of satisfaction, internal satisfaction when I know that I have helped somebody get what they want. One of the individuals that's had a pretty big influence in my life was Zig Ziglar. And Zig Ziglar, if you've ever listened to any of his videos or tapes, you know that one of the things that he said that is this: if you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. And he preached this message all over this world. And it's true. The reason it's true is because he got it from another very influential man in my life. And that, of course, was Jesus, who said that, what you need to do, Mark, is you need to treat people the way you would want to be treated. It's called the golden rule, right? Matthew chapter 7. And so that brings me a huge amount of satisfaction and enjoyment, is to see people move forward, whether it's progress in their spiritual life, in their physical life, in their business life. I want to be a part of that. And I have the skills and the experiences now, because I'm just a little bit older, to help a lot of people do that. And so that's what I want to do. So who is it then that ought to be watching these videos, subscribing to this channel? Which, hey, I want you to subscribe. That is certainly helpful to me mostly. But what I think is mostly helpful to all of us is if, while you're watching videos on this channel, that you make comment on them, that you join the community, if you will, become a commenter, and where we can help each other out. Eventually, we'll probably have a community of one sort or another, either a school community or somewhere. But for now, you're the kind of person that is wanting to impact people through their business. Yes, make money, and we want to make as much of it as we can so we can do as much good with it as we can. So you're the kind of person, though, that I'm wanting to help. The kind of person that wants to use this technology, needs to know about the tools, have help implementing those tools, and perhaps even developing some custom tools. I've done that recently in a business that I'm a part of, in managing their volunteers. And it is I'm just going to say, it is a cool app. And here's the thing: the technology that you've heard about today, I don't know code. I've never coded a line in my life. In fact, when I see it, I get away from it because it's a language I don't understand. But I created this application customized for my business, this nonprofit I'm with, to manage their volunteers, or those that are assigned to them by the court system. And it has saved hundreds of hours throughout the year. It is just amazing. So that's the kind of thing that I want to do for you and for your business as well. So this channel is all for small business owners. It's for people who are curious about AI, want to learn about it, and for people who value more than just the technology itself, but how we use it as well. And so the difference that I bring, you probably already guessed, is that I use a faith-driven commitment to serve people to the best of my ability to make a difference in their world and in mine. And so I want you to always feel free to give me feedback, because I need it. That's how we grow. I think one of the greatest thing that a person can have is a growth mindset. And a growth mindset says, I'm interested in what you think, not to bring value into my life, because that's dangerous, but so that I can perhaps grow, so that I can influence more people, persuade more people, make more money. I need your feedback. And so that is something that I appreciate. If I don't think it's valid, I'll either tell you that or just ignore it. It's kind of the way it is. And so, one of the things about me too that I haven't mentioned yet is that even though I have a ministry background, sales, communication, I've done a lot of. I think I'm very good at communicating, and both in small groups and large groups, and one on 100, one on 1,000, whatever it might be. But one of the things that I've always had an enjoyment of is technology. It's just one of those deals. I remember vividly back when high-speed internet was being introduced. I was calling my local internet provider. Hey, when are we getting high speed in this neighborhood? Hey, it needs to be here. Hey, and it's not because I needed the speed. I didn't. During those days, I think I was probably using CompuServe or something like that. But anyway, and so I've always had an inclination towards things technical. And even today, I purchased a device. It's a wearable. This is not it, but it looked like this. You just wore it on your clothes. It would record the conversation. It would use AI to summarize it, and it would shoot you that summary. And then you always, if there were in that conversation, if somebody committed to doing something, it would note those in a separate area or in a separate email. It's just really cool. In fact, I don't know, I think I paid $50 for this device. I waited 23 months before I got it because it was in development. I got it and was excited to have it, used it for 2 months, only to get an email from the founder and president saying, "Hey, we're no longer doing this. Meta's bought us out." So I'm sure there's going to be something similar that Meta is going to be offering. But anyway, just an example of how I've always been a geek. And so, as I indicated earlier, the last 2 years, I have dived in the deep end when it comes to using artificial intelligence, AI, in business settings. And I'm excited to share that with you. I'm excited to learn more. And I'm excited about this adventure that's ahead for not only for me, but for all of us. I just can't wait to see how it's going to change your life, bring positive things into your life and to the people that you're trying to serve and help in your business, whatever that business is. And AI is it's touch us all, whether it's healthcare, whether it's home service business, whatever it is, restaurant business or accounting, man, it's everywhere. And we just don't want to miss the boat. And so hopefully we will learn together and then be a benefit to a lot of folks as well. And so, again, feel free to ask any questions that you might have, any comments, anything, suggestions that you might think that, hey, this might be helpful to you, Mark. So, but I want to end with this, and that is to make an invitation. If and just that whole realm has made you feel a bit, I don't know, uneasy, or if you felt overwhelmed, I want to first say you are not alone. Lots of individuals feel that way and don't know where to start with it. They know they should because they've heard the stories. They've heard everybody talk about it and they've heard the noise, but it's a bit overwhelming. And so if it has ever felt overwhelming for you, then subscribe to the channel. This is going to be a huge help to you. If not, then I've missed my mark. And so I want you to take solace that this is a resource, that All Things AI is a resource for you to traverse this new arena, this new technology called AI. You've got a partner in the business if you want it. So subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, leave a comment below. I'd love to know what it is that brought you here specifically. So just as a reminder, you're not talking to somebody who's got it all figured out, but I'm excited about the road ahead. This is a learning space. This is not a judgment space. So let's jump in together. And if you have any questions, any subjects, questions that you would like for me to answer on this channel and in these videos, then you go right ahead and let me know. Thanks for listening. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And if you are wanting to jump right in, then check out this video, as it's a good place to start to learn more about AI and the difference it can make in our lives. All right, we'll see you next time.